to the Intergalactic Conference on Experimental Planets. We are here today to talk about a small planet in the Milky Way galaxy. It's a blue planet, quite inconsequential, not a very big planet at all, nothing very important. We've been doing an experiment on this planet. And once every 500 years, we come back and we check in on this experiment. And so what we're going to do tonight, for the first time, because the technology on this planet has advanced to the point where they have moving pictures, we are going to be able to see the planet as it is. So we're going to start with a view of the planet itself.
There are signs of strength and grandeur that I look for along my way, like the songs of early morning bird sound. They herald out the day, and in the never-ending rhythm of the waves along the bay, there are things I notice now. Promises of life, spirit lived. Well, in the search for truth and solace, people are on the run. You give me peace, you give me love and hope, if in the word would be done. Now there are ancient earth reflections, I swear in everyone. Embrace the light, come shining through, and you can see these promises of life, spirit lived. We were born out of light and shifting land, and we were born to take its care in our hand. We were born out of light and shifting land. Oh, oh. We were born to pass it hand to hand. La la la, la la la, la la There are signs of strength and grandeur that I need along my way, like the songs of early morning bird sound. They herald out the day, and in the never-ending rhythm of the waves along the bay, there are things I notice now. You can hear These promises of life, spirit lived. Oh, there are things unnoticed now, and you can see these promises of life, spirit lived.
Welcome back. Now, isn't that just a lovely planet? I just need to tell you for a moment about the beings that we placed on this planet 4,000 years ago. We, of course, placed the lowest intelligence beings so that we could discover how they evolved. You'll notice on my feet right now, I have a lovely pair of shoes. They evolved clothes. Now, the best guess we can have is that they evolved clothes as a form of protection. Why they evolved for their feet something, we've decided has because their bodies have an electrical field, and the earth has an electrical field, and it is protection to keep the electrical fields from mixing and from them to actually become part of the earth. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the other kinds of clothing that these lower end beings are wearing. So what we're going to do is we're going to attend a small gathering with a mix of beings, and you'll get to see the many types of beings also that we have placed on this earth for evolving. welcome back. Yes, those are the creatures that we left here on the earth. Next, I want to talk a little bit about how they've evolved over these years to get to where they are today. Well, what they've done is to explain away the fact that we took them from all their distant planets and we stuck them here together on the earth. You can tell they don't all belong together. They have developed a mythology, and they have a mythology that says who invented them, because they actually believe they invented themselves, so they had to create a creator. So in creating their creator, they've come up with several different versions, and we're going to see two of those versions tonight, and we will hopefully allow them to continue to believe these things so that the experiment can continue. So let's look at the creators.
In our craft room of the Gala shop. More or less, I make longboards as well, and I don't like to waste my wood. And this was a piece of wood that I had, and I got into just carving it one day, and it actually stems from the Yggdrasil tree, which is the world tree, the life tree, I guess, of Druidic and Celtic tradition. And then it gets into water, of course, which is where the tree stems from, the well of life, I guess, if you will. And then the woman in the moon is sort of, I guess, again, another symbol of nature. Yeah, nature, I guess, and all of its curvaceous forms.
Alan, I'm curious, from certain angles and with certain lighting, you can really see the grain of the wood coming down.
In the natural product, I guess, which I always try to leave intact somewhat, you know.
So the mythology continues, and we move on to another version of the mythology. And so we will continue, and there's other forms of mythology based on the idea that they were not dropped onto this planet, but actually left of their own free will their far distant planets.
called the slave schedule.
Welcome back. We've been talking about the beings on the blue planet Earth and how they're learning to evolve in our experiment. So we're going to continue and talk about how they're learning to communicate. Well, communication is a problem because we've been trying to communicate with them, but our use of lights as communication gets lost because they have so much random lighting in the planet. We can't communicate during the day, and during the nighttime, it's even more of a problem because they have all these lights that are just glowing for no earthly purpose that we know of. Maybe they have a purpose, but we haven't discovered it yet. So what we're going to do now is we have translated a special set of communications from Earth. And we've translated it, but mind you, we have not quite figured out the meaning of these words. So we're going to listen now to some real, genuine Earth communication.
Holy moly, it must be Halloween. You're scaring me. Let me tell you, Harry, dressed as a squash, was having a candlelit dinner at a terrific restaurant with a beautiful tomato. The waiter noticed him slowly sliding out of his chair and under the table. The tomato didn't say anything as Harry sank out of sight. The waiter says, "Pardon me, but I think your husband is under the table, ma'am." "No, he isn't," the tomato says. "My husband just walked through the front door." Oh. Well, it's Halloween. A kid dressed as an Indian complained to the school nurse that he was having trouble sleeping because he kept having dreams. One night he dreamt he was a wigwam. The next night he dreamt he was a teepee. "What do you think is wrong with me?" he asked the nurse. She answers, "You're too tense. You're too tense. Wigwam, teepee. Hello, anybody here?" My buddy, Quirky the Quail, asked his wife if she would have married him if his father hadn't left him a fortune. "Honey," she says, "I'd have married you no matter who left you the fortune." Whew. This is something. They're really feeling doubly lousy now. They live in East Boston, and the only light they see at the end of their tunnel is the Big Dig. I can smell a putrid audience a mile away. Okay, I admit it. That stunk. Try this. They're loaded. He's still bumming money off me. When he asks me if I have any spare change, I tell him, yeah, it's at my home in my spare wallet. You guys remind me of the band leader who didn't know his brass from his oboe. Watermelon Man was waiting for a diagnosis from his doctor. Listen to this. Instead, the doctor with a long face walked right past him and went to speak to his wife and said, "I don't like the looks of him." "I don't either," she says, "but he's good to the children." These Taliban martyrs who go to heaven to meet their 42 virgins receive a rude awakening. It seems there are tens of thousands of other martyrs who received the same virgins. The complication is they're still virgins. My doctor came into the waiting room and asked me to wait outside while he examined my wife. A few minutes later, he comes out and asks the nurse's aide to get him a pair of pliers. He got it and went back. 5 minutes later, he's out again, this time asking for a screwdriver. When he comes out a third time and asks for a hammer, I'm in shock and demanding, "What the hell is wrong with my wife?" "I don't know yet," he says. "I can't get my bag open." Oh, man. Excuse me, sir. Are you wearing your new shoes, or are those the boxes that they came in? Okay. Try this. Sam the Ham was on crutches when he went to the Halloween cookout. Halfway through the afternoon, he notices someone stole his crutches. He goes inside and meets a priest who's interested in his problem. He advises Sam to go outside, get everybody's attention, and tell them you're going to recite the 10 Commandments until the crook returns your crutches. You know what happened? When he got to the one about not coveting your neighbor's wife, he remembered where he left the crutches. Oh, boy. You ever notice, why does a beautiful sight like a sunrise always have to happen at such an inconvenient time? Is this a funeral? If the world is getting smaller, how come postal rates keep going up? Oh, man. A kid dressed as a salesman in his father's suit, briefcase and all, knocks on a farmer's door. When he says trick or treat, the farmer invites him in and brings out his 4 daughters. The kid says, "What is this, a joke?" What an audience. "It's great meeting you. Let me shake your throat." A young couple was called to heaven before they could get married. The poor groom asked St. Peter if they could get hitched in heaven. They were told they'd have to wait 5 years. Then, if you still want to get married, we'll see. 5 years later, the couple come back, and St. Peter tells them they'll have to wait another 5 years. Oh, the poor kids. After that wait, St. Peter says they could finally be married. The wedding was beautiful, and they started off well, but after a year, they went back and told St. Peter they had made a mistake. St. Peter was shocked. It took us 10 years to find a minister in heaven, and now you expect I'm going to find a lawyer? Okay, by popular demand, the owner wants you to know he's going to waive the amusement charge. A young man reported to the Someday Cafe for his first day of work there. The new owner handed him a broom and asked him to sweep out the store as his first task. But I'm a college graduate, the kid complains. Oh, I apologize, the owner says. Here, give me the broom and I'll show you how. Wow, this is gonna ruin my Halloween. The reason Cuba doesn't have a rowing team is because everyone who could row is in Florida now. My veterinarian has a 2-word sign in his office. Sit, stay. What do you get when you cross the Atlantic with the Titanic? Halfway. They say my act has a happy ending, because audiences are always delighted when I finally end. You think it's fun being a comedian? Did you hear about the witch who crossed a carrier pigeon with a woodpecker? What a story. This is incredible. She created a bird that not only delivers messages, but knocks on your door when it gets there. Oh, this is spooky. I'm not giving up that easy. A trick-or-treater rings the doorbell, and a 10-year-old kid opens the door smoking a huge cigar. The first kid asks, "Is your mother home?" The other kid flicks his ashes on the carpet and says, "What do you think?" Talk about jokes. Did you hear about Congress? They voted to send the marijuana bill to a joint committee. When I told the guy at the auto parts store I wanted a windshield wiper for my Yugo, he said, "That sounds like a fair exchange." Hello? This audience has been educated beyond its intelligence. Well, maybe you'd like some one-liners. Did you hear about the cannibals who were eating a clown? They thought it tasted funny. How about the Zen monk who told a hot dog vendor, "Make me one with everything"? Or the guru who told his dentist to hold off on using Novocaine, saying, "I wish to transcend dental medication." Did you ever consider that only one company makes the game Monopoly? This audience has a head like a blotter. You take it all in, but get it backwards. How about the warlock returning from a Halloween party at work? He slammed his wife and kissed the door. Well, in closing, let me remind you to never fear shadows. They simply mean there's a light shining somewhere nearby. And remember, raise your children to be fountains, not sewers. I'm out of here. I'll never work here again.
Welcome back. We're still trying to determine what humor is on that planet. But I wanted to fill you in on the greatest invention that has ever come out of that planet. And that invention is duct tape. We have acquired several cases of it for use on our planet. And on our spaceship, it is used for sealing up shoes and sealing up boats and sealing up cars and sealing up houses and windows and all sorts of things. It has many uses. So we've been experimenting ourselves, and we're just finding many uses, and it is just the best invention that they have created. But what we're going to do now is we're going to look at a more serious subject. We're going to start by looking at what Earth looked like before we put the beings on the Earth. And then we're going to look at what the beings have done and what Earth has become. So we're going to start now with looking what Earth looked like before the beings arrived. I can't see you. Oh, well, gravity. We're going to talk a little bit now about what planet Earth has done to these beings. Planet Earth has so much gravity, they get stuck. They get stuck in their places, they get stuck in their brains, and they really end up having a hard time being lighthearted and thinking good thoughts. So they sort of get stuck with all these bad thoughts and these sad thoughts. And so gravity, which of course we on asteroids don't have to worry about, so it's really very fun. Gravity takes them down. So we're going to see a little episode of what happens when gravity truly takes hold.
We're gonna go up these stairs here to the haunted house. These are light bearers.
Felix, can you write to me?
There's a real haunted house?
There really is.
Oh.
These are the stairs that were these original stairs. If you look at this, if you look at the Hancock family, the Hancock mansion, these stairs were moved from the Hancock mansion to here for the Perkins estate, way back when.
What is this thing?
When Jamaica Plain was a country estate.
I'm not being last one. Okay. Come on.
Cameraman can be the last one.
Okay.
You may be dead if you want to. Okay. But maybe you will. So,
Are the haunts this way?
get your lanterns ready, because you shall die soon.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Can I see? Can I see what that looks like?
Yeah.
Come on, kiss it.
You see?
Hi. Hi, man. Hey, cameraman.
Hey.
Is it? Ah, it is.
We're shortcutting through the mansion.
We'll take you in there too.
Yeah. We're at these. Yes, most likely. Okay.
Oh, we can feel it.
Okay.
Come on, keep moving. We don't want them to nose together.
Or the bats. The man-eating bats. Or the man-eating stars.
This was their summer home. They lived in town, like Beacon Hill.
Like
When
right
they came
here.
out here during the summertime for their escape from the city. The John Perkins estate. Anyway, it's fallen into disrepair. It's now condemned because there's like a historical society that wants to preserve it, make it a museum, and then, but it costs a lot of money. So, but the particular township doesn't have the money to restore it.
We
So they're
can't
like,
do
well, we
it.
can't really do anything with it, but leave it condemned and rope it off so people don't get hurt. So meanwhile, the historical societies, let's fix it. Oh, we don't know, we should razz it, it's a hazard. Oh no, it's a historical monument. Meanwhile.
Of course it's haunted.
Tell the good part.
All that.
I know all about it.
Now come on. Now we gotta go show him.
Oh, really? Flips out. Sleeves. Doesn't tell them that she's there. She sleeves. Flips out. She stews over it for about a week. And, so she finally decides what she's gonna do. So she goes back. She burns the house. Whatever. Burns the house down? What? There's with them inside, of course. And so, and you know, pretends like she didn't know anything. Like, they found two bodies. So she, you know, must have been, you know, my husband had a friend over for cocktails or something. And so she went on with her life, collected the insurance money, built a new house there. The problem was, husband and the mistresses' goats were still there. And they used to come in and just like rattle like throughout the entire house and like knock over pictures and everything.
Could you
I'm
imagine
gonna see
that?
others again now.
Well, one of my best friends has a storehouse in New Jersey, and apparently her grandfather and her great-grandmother lived there, and he's always flipping things on and off, and she jokes about it. She's like, "Grandpa, turn the TV back on, turn it back on." And meanwhile, her friends are all like crapping themselves. Like the grandma, you can hear like footsteps upstairs, going down the stairs. It's freaking. She's telling me the story. I told her my friend's storehouse is haunted by her grandfather and her great-grandmother. And he turns off and on the lights. Like, he'll watch TV, he'll turn it off. Then she'll be like, turn it back on, he turns it back on. And like, he'll see people walking around.
That's a much better start than a haunted dog. I certainly.
They do take their unknown seriously, don't they? Now, this house that you just saw, I just need to let you know we are starting to make traveling, visiting houses so that you, yes, you, could go to the planet Earth and visit. We do have a few caveats. However, if you intend to go, recognize that they don't like nonconformists. So you must dress appropriately. Remember video at the beginning. You must live in appropriate facilities. The house that you saw, yes, you know, it got a little strange. There were a few too many people in it, so they didn't like that. But the big warning is, now remember, it was 500 years ago that we checked in on this planet. And nonconformists at that point were burned at the stake. Well, we did think that that practice was dying out. However, no, it's coming back.
Oh yeah, there it goes now.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, there it goes.
And nose and mouth. Ooh, you should stop smoking, honey. It's bad for your lungs.
Yeah, but she's got that laugh. Yeah, but she's got that last little hit she's got to take.
Oh, Jack, come, Daisy. Oh. I know, it's Erica?
We're not afraid of the forest catching on right tonight.
No, it's going in the right direction.
All right.
Daisy, come. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Run across the flag. Way in the park. Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Honey, be careful. Oh! Oh, my God.
Johnny's over here.
Welcome back. Well, you know, that really ends our tour for this year of the planet Earth. Next year we'll go to one of our other 500 planets, and in 500 years we can all come back here again and we'll see Earth one more time and see where they've gotten to. We can tell they haven't gotten very far from the last time we saw them, except for the moving picture part, and that's been wonderful. We want to thank all our abductees from Somerville Producers Group that we have stolen and taken up to the spaceship. We will return them to Earth because we know Earth just is dying to have them back, they being the most intelligent beings on the planet Earth. So, with that, we're going to head on back to our galaxy. This is Zelbrog of the asteroid Zorion, speaking to you today on the planet Earth at the Intergalactic Convention of Experimental Planets. Thank you and good night.